now is the
Okay, save.
yeah.
This is we're wasting
We're done.
everything.
This is
Come
it.
on. Yeah,
Just
okay,
cut
go.
it. Editing
By the
magic.
time we get to the intro, we'll have just blown through the whole damn show.
Just splice
See,
through
this is
it.
the problem with this preamble. It's just like we talk about everything first, and then like.
I'm waiting for you to pull the trigger, man.
Oh,
That's it.
sure,
Do that
blame
next
this.
time. Send
We
the
just
link.
need, like,
just do the
Horn.
do the intro, and then we'll shoot the shit.
And we'll ramble.
Yeah.
So hard to be natural.
There's no natural on the internet.
No,
It does not exist.
No.
my name's not Jeff.
The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep, and it's time for New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new dads figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1-year-old.
Ooh,
it
fancy.
happened.
My name is Gavin. I have a almost 10-month-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an almost 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
So yeah, like literally today is his birthday. Like today is the day he's turned 1.
Where do
So
you
I'm
go
just
with
waiting
us?
for some.
Yeah, you should go wake him up.
Yeah.
What time?
Yeah,
What
on the
time?
show, wake him up.
What time is he born?
Baby, there's a podcast. Come here.
It's like
Honestly,
10
you should,
I'm just
you should be hosting. It's time for him to take the reins.
Succession
pose
planning.
waiter on here.
Yeah.
Nice. All this wonderful podcast will be yours one day. I'm just waiting for like the butterfly-like metamorphosis where he just springs out of his cocoon and, eats nicely, goes to bed well, gets a job, goes to school, whatever he prefers, I suppose. It feels like there's a lot of promise for after 1 year.
I like your faith in the education system. It's like either gets a job or goes to school, because they're not. One does not lead to the other. It's a fork in the road.
Absolutely exclusive.
You're a career student, or you settle.
Yeah, it just feels like, in many ways, it's funny. It feels almost in many ways like a bigger milestone for us than it is for him, because like we survived 1 year, like we did it.
Yeah.
Yay us.
You should get a medal. There should be like little coins. Like you got your year coin. You made it.
Like rehab.
It's like
Yeah. There'll be like a little get together every Wednesday, or even this every Thursday.
Oh, God.
Get together.
Mm.
Coins.
Yeah, but so the previous, I think I'd mentioned, so the previous week you already had the party, so today it was just my, wife and him, and this, really didn't do anything, honestly. Like we took some photos, of course, to mark the occasion, had a couple streamers and everything else to show, and yeah, just kind of noted it, marked it. It's, here we are, we did it. It's hard to say, it's the type of thing where you almost like, the time of it feels so bizarre in the sense that, on the one hand, it almost feels like it's flown by, like I can't believe it's been another year. But at the same token, like we definitely earned all of the hours that we survived this past year. So like I feel them, like I felt this year for certain. So it's hard to say like, oh, it's a blur and I didn't even notice. Like I really noticed. I noticed everything. It was long.
Slow, long year.
Felt every inch of that year.
Yeah.
We earned every inch exactly. So yeah, and here we are. Like so, it happened like 1 year old, and now that's just something we have to say. And like, how old is he? Like, he's a 1 year old. He's not much closer to a toddler.
We're not going to do the 53 weeks.
Oh Christ! Oh man! God no. He's now. I think he's now basically 1 year old until he's 1.5. So for the next 6 months, he's going to be 1 year old.
Do you find people just look at you differently now that you say 1 year old? Oh, you got a 1 year old? No, that's not as cute.
Yeah.
Not a 6-month-old. Ugh, get out of here.
I think maybe that's why people cling to like, oh, they're this many months old or this many weeks old.
Yeah.
Because it's like it still sounds fresh and new.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
a
it's
year.
not.
Ugh.
It's not old hat
It's
baby.
genius.
It's like,
Oh, that's genius. Like,
My couch is
Like
a
a
year
70
old. Ugh.
I wonder if there's like any adults who are like really having a hard time coming to terms with their own personal aging, who are like, maybe I should revert back. And it's like, how old are you? Well, I'm like 4,765 months old. or whatever that is. I bet the math works out horribly.
I don't.
For our listeners out there,
Sounds like a couple centuries there, Gary.
calculate it, and let me know if I just described a vampire with age issues. I'm a vampire.
Wow, you blew that out.
Very self-conscious about my age. 29 forever. And ever.
So, yeah, it was, it's marked. It did it. Like, geez, like, God, I'm trying to remember. I think when we started, probably started the podcast when he was about 2 months or so, and just incredible changes, and here he's at. And I guess the gaming thought that I had with him is it's very much like a real-time strategy game, where the unit continues to upgrade, and where previously it didn't do very much, and it just kind of sat in one square. And then it started to crawl, so it could move like 6 squares anywhere on the board. And now that he's like about to walk, it's just the whole board has exploded. He can go wherever he wants and cause maximum damage at any particular time. So this little tank unit that I have is continually upgrading and becoming more deadly and having greater range. And a great cost. And a great cost for resources. So
it's perfect.
It's pretty apt, and then we'll get a second resource, and it'll start off small, and we'll have to build it up, we'll have to grow it up. That's I guess the funniest thing about the first year with this kid is
that you're gonna have.
No, that sounded like an announcement.
Surprise! No,
you mean second resource?
Yeah, I'm gonna add to the ranks. I mean,
damn.
Gonna double my attack units. That is to say, no, it's funny because it's starting to enter the conversation, because we'd always discussed having 2, and it's not for certain, like, who knows where we go with it, but ultimately, like, we thought the 2 years apart would be kind of nice, which means like that's gonna have to start happening relatively soon, and it's very much like just like you've survived being thrown off a cliff, and it was catastrophic, and you slammed onto the rocks, but you survived, and then someone just comes and like picks you up and like walks you off to a bigger cliff and throws you off again.
No, it's more like
you crawled back up the mountain.
Exactly. I could do that again. Yeah, I could do that again. That was fun. Let's try that again.
I guess that's right. No one is. I guess no one's forcing me and dragging me. It's more, I'm just like, well, it can't be that bad again. How much could it hurt a second time, right?
Yeah.
Just crawl up that cliff. But I mean, theoretically, that's a conversation we need to have over the next like 6 months to a year, and just it is a damning thought. It's just as far as going back into it.
Hit and restart, doing it all over again. Level 1, level 0.
Jeff, what was it? Jeff, what was it like? Like you would, so I guess like there's. I should have noted when you mentioned the ages, but there's like 2 or 3 years between yours.
Almost 3 between them.
Like, what was that like when like you jumped again? Like what? Like how on earth did that affect you?
The silly thing about the human mind is that you forget. So you're like, oh yeah, there were some bad areas, but it wasn't that bad. It kind of went quickly, and then you get back into it, and you're like, oh man, every day is like a full 24 hours, and you're just counting down. Like, why aren't you just going to sleep? Why do I have to change your diaper now? I don't. So yes, it is a restart, but I will say, if you brother and sister or whatever it is, they do, when they start babbling to each other and talking to each other and hanging out and enjoying one another's company and even fighting together, whatever, it's a little sense of pride there. You see that camaraderie happen. So it's not all bad, but yeah, you hit the restart button and you have to start all over again. So some of my friends are having 3. No, there's no way. I'll state it on this show. I'm not having 3. It won't happen. And then watch next week. It'll be like,
yeah, I was saying, like, now that you said it, we should have just let that be quiet, because
no.
Jeez, you put it out there. The universe has a way, man.
No.
Yeah, literally, like you could literally schedule a vasectomy, and it's gonna happen the week before.
That should be yeah. Next week's episode. Yeah, so I went to the doctor and I just got snipped.
Yeah, done.
There's no way.
Yes. Enough's enough.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you do restart, but it's good. Like, I grew up with a brother. You get them to do things that you want to do.
Well, that's the thing too is both of you guys grew up with siblings.
Yeah.
I did not. I'm an only child, so if you couldn't tell. Um,
Because clearly me and Jeff are nice and balanced, whereas Gavin.
yeah.
Okay.
But the thing with being an only child, I think the one aspect that helped me a lot was I was very much an extrovert. So I didn't have brothers and sisters, but I did have a lot of friends. I was pretty quick to just like, I'm gonna make a friend. You're my friend now. Let's go ride a bike. So
That's how we met.
I demand you be my friend.
yeah, and so yeah, I think like being an only child, there isn't a lot of a social hindrance, but like I also don't really have anything to compare it to. Or like my wife, like she has a brother, so like that sort of sense of we're kind of trying to figure out where do we sit on that as far as like would we want a second child or are we kind of fine just with the one. So it's and it also comes down to as well. It's like can you and your household resources grow to accommodate a larger family as well? So like that's something you have to kind of think about and discuss and talk as far as like would having a second one also put us in a situation that's harder to provide for the ones that we do have. So yeah, it's definitely a big debate. Like, or not a debate, but just like it's a pretty solid discussion because like there are certain instances where yeah, everything's set, let's do this. But I know with us, like we would definitely have a slight rest period, but then there's also just the fact of like you can't wait too long because
Yeah.
you want to make sure that everything with having a baby goes well. And there is such a thing as a biological clock, and it ticks, and it doesn't stop ever. So yeah, it's weird. It's finding that, it's figuring out what you want as a family and going from there, and riding it out. Like I think either scenario, like if the kid's gonna be happy, like if as long as that's like your main quest. It mostly just comes down to is like you're not as much having a sibling for their sake. You're having the other kid as much for your sake. It's an added bonus that they now have a buddy.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it should definitely be like a decision is like, do we want to raise another child? Because I've seen cases of only children kind of being very introverted and having some social anxiety stuff going on. Like I've seen that happen, but if you can avoid that, usually it turns out just fine. They'll just go outside and play with the kids in the neighborhood more often than staying at home, or even the ones with siblings go out and play in the neighborhood. Like a lot of my friends that I had that I was outside playing with, they were siblings with each other. So like at the end of the day, kids are just going to play. They don't really care too much, but sometimes having one in the same house is convenient.
I
As
will
I'm sure
say
Jeff can
the
vouch for.
the hardest part about having a second is if you have one of the same gender. So reason being, first off, naming them. So you've probably picked your best name for your first kid, right? So now all of a sudden,
everything.
hand-me-down name. You're
Everything.
starting off, and I swore to myself, I'm like, I will not have my second kid, be the second kid. Well, naming right off the bat, you're like, well, what was our second pick?
What was number 2?
So if you have a girl, it's different. Or if you switch genders, that's easier. But no. What was our second pick? Okay.
Well, Damien wasn't so bad, I guess. Like just.
Do you just call him 2.0 or
Yeah.
senior, junior? How about we
Can I call him Junior?
We call him Spare for short.
Call
So
him
I
Upsies.
literally
Yeah, he'll be
found this. Like I was like, what am I kicking around under my desk? And it's one of my baby's toys. She had chucked under my desk.
It's
Hiding
begun.
them. Yeah,
You're
exactly.
gonna step on stuff. Oh man, it's
Yeah.
just coming.
That's why I try to keep soft ones around. But eventually she'll be at the Lego phase.
Yeah, those
That's,
hurt.
oh, the number of times my mom cursed at me. And it was actually, yeah, this is a fun story if we have quick time for it. It won't take very long, but this is the one time that my parents ever threatened throwing out toys. and that's when my mom had stepped on enough Lego pieces that she had had enough, and basically they're just tired because I didn't put away my toys. Um, After this day, I put away my toys, that's for sure. My dad took all the Legos that I had out, which were obviously all my Legos. I don't have anything. They load them into a garbage bag, and then we lived in an apartment building at the time, and my dad dragged this garbage bag down the hallway to the garbage chute and opened up the garbage chute and held the bag over the garbage chute. And he's like, this is what happens when you don't. And then I was like, no, no, I'm like losing my mind. And then he's like, are you going to put away your toys next time? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And he's like, okay. And he made me drag him back down the hall.
That is such a bluff. That is such a bluff. Because that's
such a bluff. But to a kid doesn't understand a bluff.
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah.
But to me, it was like horrifying.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I like that little salt at the end, make you drag back your own Legos through the hallway.
The bag bursts. They just Lego all over the hall.
And the neighbors step on them. It was a big mess. But yeah, so yeah,
Wow.
toys sucks. Jeff, I see you drinking a beer. We were supposed to this week talk about what we have at our side. So let's quickly do it
drinking
before they empty. Let's quickly go over what we're having. Is that MGD?
Yeah, I just had MGD on stock, but good light beer for tonight, so I don't fall asleep at the switch. Nice and cold.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's summer beer. It's like one of those ones where like, yep, it's cold, it's wet, it did the job.
Yeah, on sale.
That's also good too. I have kind of like a halfway there one where it's like it's a good go-to cold wet type beer, but they have like a special one that's out right now, and it's the Sleeman Railside.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I heard about that one. How is that?
Yeah, it's good. It's like Sleeman, but they like bump the hops up by like 25%.
Oh, nice.
So it's good. Like if you like hoppier beers, but you also want something that's just cold and wet and simple, it's good. Like it's nothing too fancy. It's not going to make. There's no like handlebar mustache required or cost of entry kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's good. It's refreshing. Like I'm not sure if it's gonna be my summer beer. I'm still trying to figure out what's my beer of the summer. You know, that one where like this is my go-to. But it's definitely one. It's a good one to have kicking around. It's a good one to chuck a few in a cooler if you have some friends over. Yeah. Trevor, what do you got there? You have like a
yeah, so the relatively safe can. I brought the can just in case. So it's the it's much heavier than both of yours by far. So this is the. It's not exactly, definitely not a summer beer, but if you can pull this off some nights, this
that's
thing
like if you got
fabulous.
lost in the snow.
Yeah, so for those on audio, this is the Mill Street Vanilla Porter. It is a thick, heavy beer, so again, this is not to be drunk during summer days at all. But just like, you used to have to go to the Mill Street Brewery, which, you know, I'm blessed to have that here in Toronto for me, because for the longest time the guy couldn't figure out how to can it. And then I think just literally 3 years ago, he finally perfected it to be able to can it, and it started showing up. Oh man, this thing is just fabulous. Like, think about a more flavorful, smoother Guinness.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm afraid of. The vanilla, I'm not sure about vanilla flavor.
If you haven't, Jeff, you have not had that yet?
I haven't. I'll have to try it.
Oh man, you gotta.
I won't write it off until I try it. I'll give you that. But I'm afraid. I'm petrified.
Do you like Guinness?
No. I don't like.
Okay.
No,
not a good start.
No. Do you like thick, heavy, stick to your ribs beer? No, not at all.
You like a
I'm
meal
drinking
as your drink?
I'm literally drinking MGD right now.
Yeah.
This is my happy place.
I like to see through with my beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
If light can't pass through it, I can't pass it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing passing through that.
Nothing.
Big thick head up there, like it is. But it is, man, it is absolutely fabulous. Jeff, I would suggest trying it, because even if you don't like Guinness, it is in that wheelhouse. But
yeah,
the vanilla is. They tend to do things really well with flavoring at Mill Street, so it's certainly there, and probably the most impactful flavor that they do of any of the ones that they do. But it's fabulous. I will say, like, that my next couple choices will be some good candidates for your summer beers. The one I haven't found yet and it had it at, of all places, it was at Jack Astor's, which has this like yeah.
Why?
For those on audio, you might have been able to hear Jeff scowl
Huh?
at the mention of the the mention of the craft beer selection
Yeah.
of Jack Astor's. But they got this whole list. It was like 20 stock of like craft beers, like many of which I'd even heard about. I mean, you got
And
your
they
go-tos
still
like
have a donkey
Bose.
for a logo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
This
I don't know what to
sounds
tell
like
you.
a
Like it
trick.
was,
that's
they
impressive.
upped their
You know
game,
what?
I guess.
I'm happy because like the general like people, the general congregation of Jack Astor's is usually like Bud Light, you know,
Yeah.
no offense, Jeff, MGD. Like
Yeah,
they're,
no.
they're looking
No,
for the
yeah.
ones. They're looking for like what can I drink at like a sporting event. Like that's the type of beer because it's very much it's like a sports bar with a kitchen, which is great because it's really good at doing that. But usually those types of places don't really go into the artisanal selection. You know, they usually stick to good, it's cold, it's wet, gets the job done
Yeah.
type of beer.
Cheap.
But to hear them kind of doing that is kind of good because it might bring a few people who are just used to drinking the, you know, the standard fare and help them sort of like have fun with some other ones for like, you know, like a weekend six pack, you know, not to pull them away from their favorite happy place because, you know, everybody's got their thing. Like if it's what you like to drink, it's what you like to drink. Like I will sit down and happily enjoy like a Corona at any time, especially in the summer. But I also like the nicer kind of craft beer selection as well. You know, Trevor and I have talked about the difference between like the really nice high-end coffee shops and Tim Hortons. Still enjoy both, but like, you know, you don't have to give up the Tim Hortons to explore other realms, and the same goes with like your Bud Lights and your Coors and stuff like that. Actually, scratch that.
Yeah. Hold on.
I draw the line at
We went
Coors.
too far. Yeah.
You had a great speech going there till the end there, buddy.
Yeah, scratch that. I'm gonna add my snootiness at the end there. No, it's
Tell you what, Coors when you're fishing is great because it keeps you
Yeah.
hydrated because it's mostly
Yeah.
water.
it's nutrition too because there's so much corn in it. It just keeps you nourished. And
Yeah.
we're
Yeah, but
definitely not getting
but actually,
sponsored by Coors now.
Yeah, so there goes that sponsorship. But I had no, it's funny. I had to go back there because I was so taken aback by this beer. Like it was stunning for me. Like I had to go back because I'd forgotten the name between sessions of going there, so I had to go back so I could look at the list and try it again. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is the one. Like took a photo to make sure I'd never forget it again. But now I just have to locate it. I'm not quite sure where it's.
Do you remember what it's called, or is it in your phone?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saving it for next week's.
The tease.
Oh,
There's hype.
Yeah, so
okay.
Build
To
it.
be continued. Ted, I half want to, like, to really up the game. Is like next week, like I'll send you a mystery package of beer. You guys can like open it on air and either like greatly disagree with me or be kicked off the podcast. I mean,
You can just send all the stouts to Jeff to
Yeah.
make him grimace and make me
Yeah.
jealous.
In the Guinness.
big, thick stouts.
Hey, Jeff, how's your beer? I don't know. It's still pouring.
Yeah. I need a can
Still
opener
waiting
out
with-
of the can. Just
The gents though, how was your week in gaming?
Mine was
Gavin,
good.
you wanna?
Yeah, I've been playing Flower. I picked it up. I always wanted to try it. It's absolutely beautiful.
That's the prequel to I Am Bread, I guess.
It is. It is.
I was
known
gonna
fact.
buy it.
I was so close to buying that.
Yeah, I've been playing that one and this other one. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially like Wave Racer.
Riptide? No?
Something like it's basically jet ski racing, but I got it for a song. And okay, next week I'll bring the name. I just got it, and I'm like, that looks fun. Purchased, didn't even really read it. It was on for a very, very good price, like a cup of coffee price. And yeah, it's been fun. It's like it's jet ski racing, and then you can hit ramps and do like tricks, and the tricks net you boost. And if you do a trick more than once, it doesn't net you as much of a boost. So like it kind of creates this need to switch it up and keep the audience happy. Yeah, it's pretty fun. The races are quick. I can get a few in and then get back to what I need to get back to. But yeah, for the most part, it's been those and working my way through Uncharted 2. So
Yeah. So how are you feeling about having finished Uncharted? Like, what's the feeling after the first one? Like, phenomenal. Can't wait for the next. Not
yeah,
bad.
yeah. No, the first one was fantastic, and now that I'm on to the second, it's I can definitely see that they take notes and they learn and they apply them. So it's going to be exciting to see the third one and then more importantly the fourth one. Just watching what they've learned, because even with the fourth one, they learned a lot from the third one, but they also learned a lot from The Last of Us. So it's seeing how that goes. Sorry, just checking on the baby situation. We're good.
And blasting through the series though, so we'll
Yeah,
be caught up to 4 at no time at this rate.
I'm trying to keep Jeff from spoiling it. So
I
Yeah.
won't spoil it.
So Jeff,
It's so good.
what happens in Uncharted 4?
Uncharted 4 is a great end to the series. I'm sure they'll end it for a while at least. They might come back to it, but a perfect way to wrap it, tie it all up.
it's a nice happy bow.
Sort of.
Well, happy in the sense of
Yeah.
the narrative was completed nicely.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
scenery and like just the stuff that you take for granted in a lot of even just paintings and the techniques that I've actually watched some in-depth tech analysis on some of the Uncharted sequences and stuff that I didn't realize that they like when he grabs a ledge, his fingers like clench and move along like to that extent of detail. They're doing this.
Wow.
And that stuff you don't really realize that's what's going on, but it's the small details that kind of make up that bigger picture. So I will say it's an awesome must play. Like you must play it, experience it. I'm not gonna say it's like the best game in the world ever. Pretty much is, but no, just kidding. Like it's. But yeah, I finished Uncharted 4. Great game.
Well, now what are you gonna do? Are you just done with gaming, or are you just?
I have to step back and just kind of process. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't
Like
know what I'm
now
gonna
you can't even do a Pac-Man level. Like you gotta reevaluate your situation.
Yeah, it's the same thing with The Last of Us. I had to like stop. I
Yeah.
had to stop and just let it have its moment, and then I'll move back into Witcher because that game is still there. And 100 hours later, I'm sure I'll still be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. If you're done, Gavin, I'll swing on. But
Go.
Uncharted 4 is what I played for parenting. We had a garage sale.
Oh
And
my god.
As a new dad, so much stuff accumulates in your garage, basement, crawl space, closets, attic, wherever you can shove plastic and diapers is where it's going.
You know you can throw those out, right?
No. They're keepsakes.
Might use it again. Might have a third baby. Surprise.
God, no.
Surprise.
No, now I can't. I sold all this
Taking
stuff.
hand-me-down to a whole new level, man.
Yeah. But if anybody's been around Toronto this weekend, it felt like 42 degrees Celsius, which is whatever in Fahrenheit, on it was in a parking lot with it was like a community garage sale. So they had about 100 people. You kind of pay for a parking space, and then you fill up that parking space with stuff. And then the public comes out, so you get lots of traffic. People buy all sorts of stuff for literally no cost, but at least you get rid of it. But it was so hot. Like,
Yeah.
I was just cooking out there. I'm like, is this worth it? I'm not sure if this is worth it. I started
It's like-
evaluating my life at that
You start
point.
thinking, it's like, should have I just like loaded everything in the trunk and just gone to like Value Village and just thrown it all out? Like, you guys enjoy.
No, just brick on the pedal and drive it off a cliff. Just like, it's done, it's over.
Get the car out of here. Yeah, this weekend was like August weather in May, which was like a big slap in the face to everybody, especially those of us who recently moved and haven't installed the AC yet.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah,
like a parking lot in your apartment.
it was. Let's just say I had every fan we owned
Oh
going.
no.
But I learned a lot about the ebb and flow of the airflow in our apartment and how to bank breezes off of angled doors to redirect airflow towards the baby. And we're gonna have like we have an AC all set up, like we have one, but it's in Oakville, which is near Toronto, but not in Toronto. And because we're up on the ninth floor now, I can't install it the normal way I do because there's like these city bylaws which are there to keep people from dying. I
Yeah,
get it,
sounds good.
but the heat wave thing that happened this weekend was so just unpredictable and just sprang up on us so quickly. I didn't have time to go buy plywood and cut the hole and then drive to Oakville and back and put the AC in. And it was just like we were just like we got to soldier through it. But we're gonna be so set next week, and then we'll have it and we'll be done. But
Not
that's
too bad. Not
that's
too bad
city
for
life.
you. It's like
Yeah.
your child is gonna either
She
not
was
get to
fine.
sleep.
She
Yeah.
didn't really wear anything other than a diaper for a few days, and she slept pretty good. I've got like we've collected a lot of really efficient, effective fans, especially like in some of the older apartments we were in. Like they were old apartments, like 1930s old, so we didn't really take the sun too well. So we've gotten clever. We can make a parking lot cool if we have to. But let's just say ice cream was very welcome when my wife got home from work on Saturday, and she brought home a couple ice cream cones, and like, oh,
They're just like slush at that point. Like,
no, they
hey,
weren't
it
too bad. She
was.
snagged them right at the end.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
But it was
Okay.
like, because that's the thing too, is she was at work all day, so I was at home alone with a baby with a diaper rash and teething in a heat wave.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, but then my wife got home from work and she had ice cream and she took the baby and let me go have a nice cold shower. And it was like, okay, all's well.
That's a
Thank you.
refresh. Yeah.
Yep. Have ice cream in my belly. I had a cold shower. I'm fine now.
See, I had
Um,
none of that. I had a parking lot and sweaty people
yeah.
and sweating garage sale stuff.
Ugh. Just like
But
leering over your belongings. I don't know if it's worth
yeah.
25 cents.
Well, you sweated on it, so it's yours for a quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Or you
But no,
owe me 50 cents to wash it.
yeah.
Pick one.
But no, it was
Oh,
good.
that's good. I really like the minus the crazy weather.
Yeah.
That premise was cool. Like they divvied up a parking lot and everybody had it like a cubicle basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
It reminds me of like Comic Con, like an artist alley,
Yeah.
where it's like everybody gets like the like 3x6 table and it's like, well, you're here now, and just sit there and do your thing. Um, like sell your wares, kids. But yeah, I like that. Like it's too bad parking lots are notorious for not having much shade.
Yeah. And it was bright sun, not a cloud in the sky. So,
Yeah. It's
but
almost
no,
like you would need to bring one of those beach umbrellas with like the water stand, but hindsight's 2020.
well, a lot of people did think of that, and they brought full-on like tents, like the baby tent I did for my kid's first birthday. So they did a full-on tent. I'm like, oh, can I buy your tent? Is that for sale? You don't need it. Come on. Show
Somebody's
me
got like an inflatable gazebo and a jumpy castle.
one.
Actually, jumpy castle would be horrible for a garage sale.
Oh
It's
no,
like
God.
you just organize everything and then just have one kid. Boom.
A lot of people treat your garage sale kind of like a daycare too, because there's lots of toys. So they'll just let their kid play with your toys. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
trying to
what are you doing? It's like,
trying
oh, they're just picking their toy. Like, no, they're not. They're,
no,
they're playing. They're
Yeah.
just playing.
just buy it, please.
Buy it and move along. Or at the very least, stay with them. Don't go. Like, where are you going? Where are you going?
Yeah, yeah. Don't turn your back. Don't walk away. Where-
Don't take the toaster and leave the kid. This isn't a bartering system.
But I did go around the garage sale, and I found I wasn't allowed back because I bought too much stuff. But I saw a shrink wrapped Mario Galaxy that
Ooh,
I bought. It was $5, whatever. At that point, we only made $2, so I'm out $3
Yeah.
at the start. But I bought it for my son, who's almost 6 now, and he can like navigate pretty much any Mario game that's given to him. In fact, he got the Super Mario 3D Land for his DS, and he was like ripping through that no problem. So I thought that this would be fine.
That's what I thought too. When
No, I was wrong. That is a hard game. The whole because it's on the Wii, right? So you have the remote and the nunchuck. I'm like, I don't think I've ever used the nunchuck, and he's never seen it. He's used the Wii before, and it's not a problem. But the whole hand-eye coordination is totally off now.
Like handing him a rotary phone.
Yeah. And the first world has like, usually the first world of Mario is like, you can die here and there, but it's like a whole planet that has holes in it that you fall down into a black hole. You have 3 lives and you're done. Like that's it.
That's it.
Holy hardcore. So
they are not messing around in that one.
He was a little frustrated at it, but I guess my bad. I thought Mario was kind of, it's a Mario game. It'll get harder eventually, but God, no, they kicked that off thing like super challenge mode or something. I was trying to find like an infinite lives code or something I could do for him. Because in the DS games, if you die a lot, you turn into like Golden Mario, and then you're basically invincible, and you can run through the level no problem. So maybe this thing had it. No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's okay. You're a winner now.
Yeah. Try this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nintendo. That'll set you straight.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm a good gamer. I'm hard. I'm tough. Yeah. Come here. Let me tell you about Battletoads.
Yeah, exactly. Do this level blindfolded. Do it.
Yeah. You can do this level with 5 Red Bulls and perfect eyesight, and I'll still watch you cry. But you'll leave an adult. It'll be good. Yeah. That's as far as like game punishment.
Hey everybody, Trevor here. Sorry to interject, but unfortunately we had some internet issues towards the end of the episode, and we ended up losing about the last 10 minutes, which we could not get back together, but we did want to still package up the rest of the show and end off here with a great note. So thank you once again for listening. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, you can reach us at newdadgaming.com. We do this show weekly, and you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and any other place you find podcasts. On behalf of Jeff, his 2 kids, Gavin, his 1, and myself and my child, thanks once again for listening. We'll see you next week.